Hey, it's Jack, and this video is called 3 Ways to Stop Blocking Intimacy. Hey, welcome to the channel if you're new, or if you're not and you haven't subscribed, I just want you to go ahead, click here, and then tap that bell notification so that you hear of new videos as soon as they come out. My name's Jack Butler, I'm a relationship coach, and I release new videos several times a week. So I also, just before we get into it, I want to invite you to be part of something. I have a question and answer community, and the only way to be invited to be part of that is to be on my mailing list. And the quickest way to be on my mailing list is to click the link directly below this video and to download my Real Freedom Guide. I've gotten excellent feedback from the guide. And when you download that, you'll be added to my mailing list, and then I will send you details of the Ask Jack community, which is launching and has got some great feedback already. So I'd love for you to be part of it. Now, this video, so 3 ways that you block intimacy. I'm going to rattle through these. So number 1, the first way that you might be blocking intimacy is by reloading. What's reloading? Reloading is when the other person is speaking, you are reloading and working out what it is that you're going to say next. Now, in certain social situations, it might be that you have to do this just to keep up with the social mores, just to keep a back and forth of small talk. But if we're talking about intimacy, with people you actually want to cultivate intimacy with, whether that's a partner, a lover, or deep friendship, you're going to learn how to switch this off so that you can actually be with the other person when they're speaking. Most of the times when we really look into it, reloading is a strategy to reduce anxiety, right? Because we don't want to be left with the awkward silence. But part of being more emotionally mature and more present is, in my humble opinion, your ability to be with silence and to actually embrace silence and to not be so afraid that if someone says something that you immediately need to have something to say back. And the more you work this muscle, the more you can rely on it, that actually presence, you being present to yourself, can provide what it is that needs to be said. It can start to kind of arise rather than you having to plan it out. So number 1 is stop reloading. Number 2, which relates to this, is stop saying things that are only things that you've said or thought before. Right? Just think of this. When you're hanging out with someone, you might tell them about your view of Donald Trump or the climate change crisis or what's going on with this guy that you've been dating or what's happening with your work. And oftentimes when you do that, there's a kind of automaticity. There's a kind of being automatic at the heart of what you're talking about, because it's kind of things that you're pulling up from the past. So you're sort of emptying files that have already been created. And part of actually being more intimate with someone is getting to the stage where you're willing to be with them and actually not know what it is that you're going to say next. Just let that land in you, to not know what it is you're going to say next, because you actually want to discover in the intimacy of the moment with them what your experience is, what's coming up for you, what needs to be revealed, maybe what doesn't need to be revealed. But rather than it being some kind of like, oh yeah, cool, we're just pulling old DVDs off the shelf and playing them, it's like, what would actually happen if you live streamed with someone, right? Which means that you're really live and present with them and you don't really know where it's going to go. Now, the reason most of us don't do that is why? Because it's kind of uncomfortable. Because we kind of feel more in control when we're sharing things that are already somewhat baked. And you can get to do that. I'm not saying that there's never value in doing that. Of course there's value in doing that. Of course there's value in sharing something that you have thought about or that's kind of well formed in you. But real intimacy often comes from the place that it isn't formed, where it's kind of messy, where it's yet to be fully matured and baked, and that you can include someone in your process. Hey, there's this thing that I'm just kind of noticing right now. Let me reveal that to you. Let me share that with you. Or, oh, you've just said something to me. I don't really know what I'm going to think about that in the fullness of time, but here's kind of my gut response. Here's kind of what's coming up for me in this moment. And you can learn how to communicate with someone from that place. It will give you reduced anxiety, and most importantly, it will give you more intimacy in the connections that you have. And then in at number 3, the third thing that you can do to stop blocking intimacy is to learn how to receive the impact of what has just been said to you. If we were in conversation and I revealed something about my process, or I offered you some feedback, or I put an idea into your reality, part of us being intimate is that we can actually co-orient towards the same thing at the same time. And so if you're in conversation with someone and they say A, part of being intimate is that you can actually respond to A. You can actually say, oh, the impact of A, I can actually let it land in me and I can start to notice, what's true for me about A? How does A land for me? Let me metabolize A a little bit. I'm actually in relationship with the thing that you've just said. Because a lot of conversations, they go like this. It's like A, and then you say F, and then I say G, and then you say Q. It's like there might be some intellectual thread that runs between them, or it might be that when I share A, it makes you think of G, and that's why you start talking about it, but it doesn't really foster intimacy. It's more like associative thinking that, oh, one idea sparked another, but that doesn't really create intimacy between two people. Intimacy is often created by what? It's created by shared experience, by shared reality, and by shared orientation to what it is that's actually here right now. If I say, hey, look at the Grand Canyon, and you say, yeah, my sister has always been into computers, we're not really connected in the same reality, right? And a lot of bidding in relationship, which means co-orienting to the same thing, like, hey, did you notice that bird in the sky? Oh yeah, I did. Or, oh no, I didn't. What breed do you think it is? A lot of that, the actual utility of it isn't the specific content, it's that we are sharing an orientation to something. So if you want to increase the intimacy in your relationships, notice that when someone says something to you, how do you let it land in you, and how much do you talk directly to the thing it is that's just been landed in your reality? All right, this was a short one. I'd love to know what you think. Please, if you haven't, just go below, click that link, and sign up for the Real Freedom Guide. I look forward to sending you more information about the Ask Jack community. And again, as always, I'm Jack. Thanks for being here.